Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. So this album, or this video, is an album review on Silent Circle's 1986 album called No1. Silent Circle, really this was their only album for quite a few years, and then they came back in the last maybe like 15 years or so. But they had some singles after this album, but this was really the only album that they had at the time. They're pretty much a synth pop slash Euro disco, synth pop, sort of Italo-Disco band. If you know them, they kind of remind me of maybe somewhere in between like Alphaville and Kajagoogoo and maybe like, um, yeah, like that kind of sound. Like they're kind of in that kind of vein. Um, if you guys know Savage, the Italo-Disco singer, it's kind of in that realm, but maybe a little bit more upbeat, maybe a little bit more Euro disco, I suppose. Um, they're from Germany. I found this album with this reissue. Actually, I'm always interested in finding Italo disco. Ever since I first got into the style, probably in the early '90s. There used to be a lot of like Italo disco that was verging on like rave music. If you guys know Disco Magic, um, or MGB. There's like a lot of like ambient house from Italy, and but also Italo disco from the early '80s all the way through. I think if you guys don't know Italo disco, if you guys know the track like Tarzan Boy by Baltimora, that probably one of the most uh, popular, not necessarily one of the best, but one of the most popular Italo disco sounds of all time. When you think of like Send Me an Angel by Real Life, that's kind of a little bit sort of Italo disco. Maybe even When in Rome's The Promise is sort of Italo disco slash synth pop. Um, there's I can't think of any more like popular ones, but yeah, Alphaville could be kind of a synth pop slash a little bit of Italo disco in there as well. But that was kind of the sound of Silent Circle. If you don't know the band, um, they do a really good catchy. They're definitely a catchy synth pop band. Um, when you think of the songs like "Stop the Rain in the Night," which is probably the most popular song on the album, but also "Touch in the Night" and "Love Is Just a Word." Those are my three favorite songs on the album. When I think of their rhythms and their beats, pretty straightforward '80s Italo disco sound. Um, I think some people that are into some of these newer sort of '80s Renaissance sounds like vaporwave or synthwave, like you could probably say this is in that ballpark sound, that vintage kind of '80s sound that sort of made a comeback in the last 15 years. That sort of, if you guys know vaporwave and synthwave, I don't have to say anything more, but it's kind of in that ballpark. Um, when I look at the actual song ratings, "Touch in the Night" I got 2 3/4 stars. Uh, Sib Dab Dua, which is an interesting name, 1 1/4 stars. Eh. Dreams a little bit better, 2 1/4 stars. Hideaway, 2.5 stars. Shy Girl, 2.5 stars. Stop the Rain of the Night is probably my favorite song. Well, it's tied for my favorite song. 3.5 stars. I didn't rate the track number 7 for you. It's only like a minute song. Give me time. 1 star. Moonlight Affairs, 2 1/4 stars. Anywhere Tonight, 1.5 stars. And then tied for my favorite, Love Is Just a Word, 3.5 stars. So I add up the stars on this one, and it's 23 stars divided by 10. It's a 2.30. So I gave it a 57 out of 100. I think it's pretty good record as far as comparing it to other Italo disco albums of the time, and just that in general, that kind of 1981 to maybe 87, 88 sort of Italo-Disco, synth pop, Euro disco sound. Um, and it's funny when I first heard this song in 2000, this album in 2014, I actually wrote out the stars because I've been doing this star system, and since I'm trying to think, maybe as far as back as like mid '90s, before I got on Discogs, before I ever thought of ever using it of anything. It was really just a thing for me to use. But you can see, even back, even just 10 years ago, I was still using the star system with the halves. Now none of these are quarters, and I maybe I added the quarter stars in the last 10 years to be even more accurate. But um, it's funny how I look back and I played this album last night, and my favorite songs are not fully surprisingly, that my favorite songs 10 years ago are pretty much my favorite songs now, but it's pretty much almost accurate to the same stars. I have Touching the Night 3 stars here. I have it 2 3/4 here. The next two tracks I have 2 stars. Here I have it 1 1/4 stars. The other one I have 2 1/4 stars. The next track I have 2.5 stars. I had 2.5 stars. Next track I put 2.5 stars. Here I have 2 stars. Stop the Rain at Night, 3.5 stars, 3.5 stars. Again, I didn't want to rate the second one, the quick one. Give Me a Time, I rated 2 stars. Last night I rated it 1 star, so I was a little off on that one. Moonlight Affair I like better, 2.5 stars. I rated it 3 stars back in here. Maybe I'll have to give that one a second chance. 1.5 stars for Anywhere Tonight. I had it 2 stars here. And then Love Is Just a Word, I had 3.5 stars, and then 3 stars here. So my 3 favorite stars on originally, my favorite 3 songs back here in 2014 are still my favorite 3 songs here, rating it 10 years later. So that's a good sign. But yeah, a pretty good album overall. 57 out of 100. Not too much else to say about this. This isn't the deepest album to do this long review about, or really get in depth. It's just nice Euro disco music. When I think of the opportunities, you kind of need to be into the style to enjoy this music. There's definitely a little cheese in here, and again, it's kind of like that Alphaville, Kajagoogoo, um, you know, sort of synth pop sound. You know what I mean? It's just, there was one other band I was thinking, but I blank. I think I was a little bit thinking of like Secret Way by Scritti Politti, just that particular song, not the album. But in a way, I'm looking at my Scritti Politti album, because I do have it over there on cassette. Their 1985 album, which I'm blanking on the name of. The Perfect Way? It might be the same album. I can't remember what the album was called. Anyways, The Perfect Way, that song kind of reminds me of this. And it's just around the same time. Maybe it's just the way it's made is kind of similar. But yeah, Kajagoogoo, that sort of sound. Silent Circle kind of has that, but maybe a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more Euro disco. But yeah, overall, pretty good example of Italo-Disco and a synth band, and especially from Germany. And this is the kind of stuff that if you're into dance music and you're into synth pop, and if you do a lot of crate digging like I do, and you do a lot of searching for odd music and rare music that you never heard of, and you see somebody with like a haircut like that, right? Very Flock of Seagulls. You know, you're gonna take a chance on it here if you like mid '80s dance music, and you get what you sign up for when you buy this album or you check them out. They look like how they sound, and that's cool. That's what I hope to expect, by checking them out. And if you're into carefree dance music that has kind of a Italo-Disco sound, Silent Circle will be a good find for you. But yeah, check them out. All right, thanks so much. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me if you at least like a song. But yeah, I'd be happy if you just heard one song. Stop the Rain Tonight. Check out that song. Or actually, I'll tell you what. Love is Just a Word. The last song on this album. See if you like that one. I think that one's a little deeper, but you know, deep is a deep for this band is a stretch, but it's a little bit more introspective, I suppose. Maybe a little bit more melodic. Not as like high energy, which sometimes Euro disco can be like high energy. If you guys know high energy disco sound, that style, sometimes Euro disco can kind of get into that higher energy, and they can a little bit, but they still sort of stay in the synth pop, and I like that because I'm not huge into high energy. Like Sylvester and stuff like that. I don't mind it, but it's not my more ideal disco sound. I generally like the more smoother, more melodic, a little bit lower tempo style of disco music. But yeah, Silent Circle.